I'm letting a few more participants in here, so bear with me, please. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Arizona Sports and Tourism Authority, there are 3 staff members as well as the board of directors, comprising of 9 Maricopa County citizens. 5 of the board members are appointed by the governor, 2 by the president of the Senate, and 2 by the Speaker of the House. Pictured here, AZSTA's president and CEO since 2008, Tom Sadler, our CFO, BJ Morley, who joined us in 2019 of June of 2019, and I joined us in April of 2019. Sorry, just taking a minute to admit a few more people. AZSTA was formed as a result of voter-approved Proposition 302 in November 2000. AZSTA is the owner and operator of State Farm Stadium. We receive our funding from the hotel bed tax in Maricopa County, the car rental surcharge, stadium sales tax revenue, NFL income tax, and facility use fees. Our responsibility is repaying the bonds on State Farm Stadium, funding tourism in Maricopa County, funding construction renovation for the Cactus League training facilities, funding youth and amateur sports grants, and operating State Farm Stadium. AZSTA has tremendously enhanced both the economy and the quality of life here in Maricopa County. Within the first 12 years, State Farm Stadium generated over $5 billion in economic impact. The 2023 Super Bowl was the 3rd in a 16-year span, and in 2024, we will be hosting the NCAA Final Four.
Eric Barkium.
Join the meeting.
Purpose of the Youth and Amateur Sports Grant Program is to encourage physical activity and to promote the use of community, youth, and amateur sports facilities, recreational facilities, and other community facilities and programs located in Maricopa County. Since 2000, AZSTA has awarded over $27 million to over 500 youth and amateur sports projects throughout Maricopa County. This year, our funding is $3.5 million for this grant cycle. AZSTA's goal is to distribute grant funding in a manner that ensures compliance with our enabling legislation. Priority is given per statute to youth recreational facilities and projects that are adjacent and in proximity to or benefit to public schools. Per AZSTA policy, other criteria used in reviewing the grants is the type and scope of the project, the statement of need, benefit to the surrounding community, and project sustainability. For the biennial grants, AZSTA may award as much as 2/3 of the project total cost, but will not exceed $250,000. The funds are available to grant recipients on a pro rata reimbursement basis. So if we award 2/3 of the project cost, each invoice submitted for the reimbursement would be reimbursed at 2/3 the total invoice amount until the award amount is reached. For example, assuming we awarded 2/3 of a total project cost of $375,000, which would be $250,000, the applicant would need to submit $375,000 in invoices for reimbursement to receive the full $250,000. And I will be taking questions at the end, so I hope I'm not moving too fast for you. So this is the timeline for the YAS Biennial Grant. We sent out notifications in January. We're conducting virtual workshops now. The application will go live on March 1st, and the deadline will be March 31st. We will begin evaluations of the application and site visits in April and May. We will have a public meeting with the YAS committee to consider recommended applicants, and the board of directors will consider the YAS recommendations, and then the awards will be and funding agreements will go out to the approved applicants. So we anticipate the YAS meeting to be about the first week of June, the board of directors the full recommendation and about the last week of June, and funding agreements and award letters should go out the first week in July. So our core requirements include to be eligible for the grant, you must be a Maricopa County agency public school or school district, municipality, or any incorporated public entity, nonprofits that have been designated by the IRS as a 501c3 or C4 organization and have been in operation for at least 1 year are also eligible. For the 501c3 and C4 nonprofits only, the application does require the IRS letter of designation. And just to confirm, we do need the letter, not the tax return, not the 90 forms, the letter, please. Sorry, I think I got ahead of myself here. Projects must also be located in Maricopa County, and they must be youth and amateur sports and activity related. Program funding may be considered for tangible and sustainable items related to the program that will stay with the organization. Please keep in mind that per policy, the authority can't fund overhead administrative costs such as salaries, travel, or conferences. And if you have any questions if something can be funded, please ask me. You can give me a call, you can send me an email before including it in your application. So applications will be live on our website next Wednesday, March 1st at 9 a.m. And the link will be located on the Biennial Grants landing page. They will close at 5 p.m. on March 31st. And the link to the application will close at that time, as well with the ability to submit. Only applications submitted online will be accepted. Email receipt will be auto-generated by Jotform, and detailed directions to complete the application are already on the website. It's also a link to it that you'll attest that you've read it inside the application itself. As a matter of fact, I have an example of the application here. Oh. There we go. So this is what the application will look at once you click the link online. It advises you to please read all the grants, grant guidelines and applications. The link is provided here to those. You will have a save and continue option this year. All the red asterisks are required fields. You will upload all your required documentation directly into the application. You'll also get down here to the bottom. This is where you'll do your authorized signing here. Just check the boxes. It is signing online. Nothing is to be printed, sent in separately, no paper copies. Everything is nice and convenient for you. Again, you can save and return, and when you're ready, you'll hit that submit button and you'll get generated a receipt. All the supplemental documents required are listed here. Some, of course, will be specific to your project. If you're building something, we'll need the map and site plan. If you need to know that you own the land, that sort of thing. But some are absolutely required, like the worksheet, budget worksheet, your secured funding, letter of commitment, secured funding letter, your fiscal year-end statements, all that stuff is definitely required for everybody, and that will be a red asterisk on the application. You won't be able to submit it without it. But some are specific to the applicant, like the 501c3 or what your project is. And that supplemental document list is also included in the instructions. So at the time of application, applicant is required to prove 50% of the applicant match. And then 100% of the applicant match needs to be proved at the time of award. So, for example, if you have a project estimated to cost $150,000, the applicant request from AZSTA would be $100,000, which is 2/3 of the project cost. The applicant match would then be $50,000. So we'll need to see at the time of application through bank statements or whatever have you, that you have $25,000 on hand. And by the time of award, we'll need to see that you have the full 100%. To ensure your organization has secured the match, we do require proof that the funds are secured. Proof of the applicant match is a bank account statement certified by the treasurer, finance director, or CFO, and a letter stating that the funds have been restricted for the purpose of the grant. For municipalities and schools, a copy of the budget line item from the approved budget by the city council or board, along with the meeting minutes, is acceptable. Also, if approved budgets are posted online, like many cities do because they're so large, there is a place in the application to provide the web link to the approved budget instead of uploading the entire document. Cash donations and other grants may be used towards your secured funding as well. If you are using other grants to help with secured funding, we'll need a proof of the award letter uploaded into the application. If a donation or grant award hinges on the AZSTA approval, or you've been awarded other grant money that not yet received, a conditional letter from the donor will be required, pledging however many dollars for the project. In-kind donations are also accepted with some limits on them. Your limit one must be 10% of the total must be less than 10% of the total project value. So if it's $100,000 project, in-kind contributions must be less than 10,000. But limit two also needs to be met. So it must be less than 25% of the applicant's total contributions. So if a project total is 100,000, applicant's contribution would be 33,000. Therefore, the in-kind contribution must be less than $8,250. I do have that in the budget calculated for you when you put in the numbers, and I'll show you that in my example, which is right here. So this is one of the required documents in the spreadsheet for your budget. So you will put in what the project description is, and be as specific as possible. And then there's a drop down category of what it would be, and then your total cost here, the organization match, AZSTA request, and the our percentage of the contribution is posted at the bottom. And that percentage is important because when you start to submit invoices, we're going to pay at that percentage rate until we get to your maximum award. And I do suggest, if you have a really large project, some of our schools were building entire gyms, but our project was just to cover the floors. So that allowed us to reduce the project total cost, because as soon as you up this number to $1 million, our percentage goes down. So for every invoice you submit, we would pay 21% in this particular example until we reached our, so you'd need to submit over $1 million in invoices to get to the 250,000. So if you have a large project that you can reduce, but you're only interested in us funding, let's say $300 and some thousand worth as part of the larger project, I would definitely hone in on that part. And I can definitely take time to explain that in more detail. In-kind donations, as I was saying, this is an example, and I already have it calculated for you. It's got pulls from the other side. You got your total project value, the request, your match. You're going to get some light poles donated for this project at the value of 35,000, which we do, by the way, want a quote uploaded if you're going to use in-kind. We want to see where that number comes from. But it will come down here and look at your limits, and it will tell you how much you can use your maximum in-kind contribution for this project. Funding partnerships, as we discussed, if you have an award from another charity that you're going to use towards your secured funding, it would just need to be documented here. And then all of your information for the project will come on the summary. So you have the total project cost, what your contribution will be in secured funding, your in-kind funding, and then any commitment letters for your total match of 138,000. And again, I'll take questions on this at the end if you do need anything explained in further detail. So for those awarded funds, the grant management workshop will be necessary for the person managing the grant. AZSTA's grants are different since the award is reimbursed, and this workshop is designed to help your organization be successful in their reimbursement request process. So it will be virtual and very easy to attend. So please plan on, if you're awarded, to have someone attend this workshop. because of the requirements that we do have in order to get your money. So here's my information. You can call me directly here at the office. Emails I get all the time, 7 days a week. And just let me know if you have any questions at all as you're filling out the application. I'd much rather help you on the front end than have to ask you questions on the after you've already submitted. So I'm going to open it up. Just if you have any questions, go ahead and let me know. And I'm sorry, trying to take my video back off. Here we go. So yeah, just please unmute yourself if you have a question. I'm more than happy to help you out.
Is there like a rubric associated with the grant application?
No, all the requirements are down or on the webpage. What specifically are you looking for?
I don't have a particular ask.
Okay.
I'm working with other people on this, but are there particular types of within the big categories that you talked about, particular projects that you specifically are looking for?
There's not a, let me pull it up for you. There are definitely core requirements, and all that is listed on our website. Let me pull this up for me. Get my, sorry, I'm trying to separate it out from my. So if you go to the biennial grant webpage, and I pretty much covered all the key factors. I have the frequently asked questions. So I was just, the type of organization that we allow is listed on there. It needs to be youth and amateur sports related, but it's physical activity, anything that promotes that is within Maricopa County. The project has to be in Maricopa County. All of that is listed on our website.
Okay.
So
Perfect. I just wanted to check if there was.
Yeah.
It seems relatively simple. So I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing something.
No. I mean, the things you want to avoid are the mostly the non-tangible items. We don't do, like I said, overhead cost. We don't pay for coaches. We don't do that sort of thing. But as long as it falls within those criteria, it is a pretty broad spectrum of the types of things we do. We put lights in fields. We built fields. We also provide AEDs, iPads to support those sort of things. So it is pretty broad. So if there's something specific you have a question about, I would just shoot me an email.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Sure.
Heather, in regards to the IRS determination letter, does it have to be within a certain amount of time frame, like a year or two, or if you've been around for a little bit, is the older one okay?
Oh no, we don't usually do that.
Okay.
As far as that goes, we just want to see that you have the designation letter, and that
Thanks.
yeah, I think everything else you submit will prove that you're still in operation.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions? Any questions on the budget and that's the part that gets a little bit, I tried to make it as easy as possible by just listing everything, but, and having everything calculate for you, but it does, go just speak to the reimbursement side of it. So I wondered if anybody had any questions on that.
Actually, I do have a question about the applicant match and how what type of documentation do you need from us to prove that we have the match?
Well, let
Could
me
you repeat
answer you
that?
specifically. Are you a nonprofit or are you a municipality or
A school.
a school? Okay, so
Yes.
I think what's easiest for you is an approved line item in your budget.
Okay.
Just whatever your board has approved, and it helps to have the meeting minutes showing when it was approved.
Perfect.
And I don't need to see the entire budget. If you have a specific page to that, you can upload that. But if a lot of schools, because they are huge.
Yes. You don't want all of it, right?
But if there is posted online, feel free to go ahead and include that link. If there's a
Wonderful.
URL link section provided.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would add to that, the secured funding letter from your director of finance, just saying that that line item, the money in that line item is being used for that. So,
Hi, Heather.
hey, Ray.
Could you give an example of a program that's been funded that, you know, is indeed tangible and ongoing? Part of the reason why I'm asking is those might be different relative to providing invoices or having even costs associated with them. Is there an example without naming the organization?
Well, it's good because I don't remember the name of the organization off the top of my head. But things like tables, chairs, things that they needed to set up to go to different locations. There was one organization who does different programs at different locations. So their equipment as far as sporting equipment, chairs, even things like ATVs and stuff like that that are needed to move and make the sporting event happen or the athletic event happen, or even whatever the activity is that kind of fall under that umbrella of youth and amateur sports. We can do things like that. But we absolutely have to have an invoice and we absolutely have to have proof of payment in order to be able to reimburse.
Thank you.
Do you have any other questions? I always say tangible and sustainable because that's what our typical thing is. I know during COVID, hand sanitizer was a huge one. Just to kind of give you guys an example, the sanitizer itself is not something that lasts, so that was not something we would reimburse, but the dispensers for the sanitizer, we will, if that helps. Well, and feel free to interrupt me if you think of a question, but it will go live next week. Looking forward to getting applications in. And if you run into something as you hit the application that you have a question about, again, I'd much rather help you on the front end. Not that I don't want to help you on the other end. It's much easier for both of us if we work together. I'm available to you, so please use me as a resource. Again, this will be posted, this workshop will be posted online. So if you want to review it again, if you want a copy of the presentation, I'm more than happy to email it to you. It's not top secret. So I'm here to help. If there are no more questions, though, I won't take up any more of your time. So one more call for questions. Okay, well, I'm so glad you guys all came out and took some time to see what we're about. And I look forward to hearing from you and look forward to see your application. We've got a good amount of money to give away this year and we're excited. So thank you and please take care of yourself in the interim.
Thank
Y'all
you,
have a
Heather.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.